Hello, thank you very much for being with us today. As you know, microfinancial activity have played an important role in poverty reduction of developing countries like Vietnam. So what do you think about these activities in Vietnam in the past few years?
Vietnam has been concentrating and growing very fast over the past few years, and its banking system is quite large now. Unfortunately, the microfinance activities have not developed as much as they could have. But if you look at it another way, you have certain institutions which have been quite dominant in lending to the poor and also providing support for different programs for the masses. VBSP, Vietnam Bank for Social Policy, has several customers, more than 7 million, if I'm not mistaken, households as customers. And they have 17 or 18 different programs to support different things. 1/3 of their programs, I believe, support education for the poor. 1/3 of the programs support really poor, whether it's with agriculture, with household related issues, etc. Where we need to make a distinction is that the typical microfinance, which is observed across the world, has developed into an activity where you have to have sustainability. That aspect in Vietnam, for example, the institution like VBSP, is not that yet developed.
Could you give comments on the differences between Vietnam and other countries in performing microfinancial activities?
Where the way Vietnam has developed, they have still a very concentrated focus through the Vietnam Bank for Social Policy in addressing many households. Now, the access to this institution is quite large, but at the same time, the access can also become a hurdle for the growth of other institutions. Right now, you have license for 2 or 3 microfinance institutions. They are concentrated in particular areas, and they have still limited scope of work. VBSP operates and supports a lot of the poor and microfinance borrowers, but its activities are not market oriented, which means that it has significant costs for the government, and at the same time it basically offers a cheap alternative to a consumer, making it difficult for any other entrant to get into the market.
What are the challenges faced by international organizations in doing microfinancial activities in Vietnam?
In fact, in the rural areas, there are only a few banks. Most of the banks concentrate in urban areas. Secondly, as I mentioned earlier, if I want to come in, I want to have good knowledge of the industry and the sector. Do I have that? I would argue that there is some information but not enough. And that's where the government can probably play a very strong role in trying to give more information about the borrowers and about the industry, which can then stimulate activity and raise the interest of the foreign investor, right, or somebody who wants to participate. But right now in Vietnam, that has not advanced to that degree. I do understand there is work going on, but I think at this time, if a foreign investor comes, he cannot get good information from that source as well, and that limits.
So what should we do to improve the effectiveness of these activities in the country?
In Vietnam, I think despite a fast growth of the banking sector, there are still a lot of people who do not have good financial services. And I think it's important that when you look at microfinance in Vietnam, you look at beyond just loans. You can look at other areas like microinsurance has grown quite a bit and is doing very well across the world. You have to look at micro housing loans. You have to look at ways in which you can have small payment systems. Like in Philippines, now you can transfer funds from a cell phone to a cell phone. In other countries also, they're moving towards good transfer of funds through small systems which are less costly.
Once again, thanks for joining our talk today.